It's Michael. Day 12, skipping again. Yeah, so this one's going to be death. So, probably just going to do the whole classical interpretation of death as a skull and black robes in the sky, for whatever the heck it is. Jeez, I need to cut my nails. Yeah, 30 minutes. I'm gonna try it this time. I'm gonna try to do some different techniques that'll cover blacks, shadows, shaded areas a lot faster. So, yeah, let's get started. As I say that, I draw a blank. All right, let's see here. Not really a, I don't know, all of my inking says otherwise. Not really like into like the macabre or anything like that. I do like certain artists, or some artists that do that stuff, like Bernie Wrightson. I was always kind of like a big Bernie Wrightson fan. He definitely did darker subject matter, or horror, monsters, all that kind of stuff. Which was cool. I mean, his inking style was very cool to look at. Not just his inking style, but his artwork in general. It was really nice to look at. Whenever he did, Frankenstein, but even before he did Frankenstein and stuff, I thought it was it was pretty sweet. Um, um, his like sense of, I mean, even anatomy. If you look at a lot of his drawings and stuff like that, you have his anatomy, his character acting. Was that right? Big old question mark. Is this the Riddler? Hell. Anyways, yeah, his character acting. But yeah, I mean, his like sense of shadow and lighting is very, very dramatic. It's always cool to look at, regardless. I'm, was always into superheroes and the X-Men and all that stuff and whatever, but still, good art is good art. Doesn't really matter what it is that you're into. You're allowed to be into like more than just like one thing, I think. And you can definitely learn. I think life in general, you probably learn a whole heck of a lot more if you're not just beholden to, well, what are you doing for your entire life? This one thing that you're doing for your entire life. I don't know, that's just me, and that's a different rant altogether, but that's the same thing. I mean, why can't you appreciate, why can't people appreciate more than one thing and not be labeled as something? So, oh, you're an artist, what do you know about sports? Or vice versa. Or, you're a creative, what do you know about sensible thinking or something? You know, stuff like that. But it was really nice to, it was always really cool to see you know, Bernie Wrightson horror, like artists and everything like that from different genres of whether it be like comics or whether it be, I mean, geez, like even your classical painters or even your sci-fi, fantasy, artists, your uh, I mean, even like your digital artists, man, like digital concept art and everything like that. I mean, that stuff is pretty cool, and I think like if you have an appreciation for that, if you have an appreciation for other art mediums, and how they interpret things, I mean, that can only really add to your repertoire of things, right? Add to your knowledge, to your filter, I guess. Your dictionary of how certain things could look, what you can incorporate in your own look of artwork, your look of art, I should say. I'm really not too sure about the skeletal structure, which I think, there we go, that's something I could probably be learning if I look at all these different types of art. Or just like do more studies, one of the two. Probably the latter, or both. Don't think that's... Sorry guys, I'm gonna be drawing a bazillion lines until I somewhat think of a good moon would look like, I guess. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens here. Let's see, 8 minutes, I guess. Cool. Gee, I don't know what this is. It's like, well, I know what it is because I'm drawing it, but why I'm drawing it, I don't know. Probably all that talk about Bernie Wrightson. How dare that guy do this to me? Yeah. Let's clean that up. I guess I'll go with this one. Yeah, so I don't know, last couple all of my quote unquote challenges haven't really been successful. Well, sort of. I mean, they're successful in the sense that they're making me warm up and draw. So that's kind of cool. I think that's really what this whole thing was supposed to be about, right? Is try to warm up with something, and I mean, I don't know, don't necessarily have to have a finished product, but it'd be kind of cool, if you do, whatever. I don't think you get bonus points or whatever, but I think it's like a good practice to try to speed it up, to try to get your ideas down fast and quick. But like at the same time, of course, you don't want to sacrifice. I'm talking about like the quote unquote real, the real stuff, you know, like the real drawing or whatever, then that's whatever. I think this is just more or less to just try to get your mind going, your brain loosened up a little bit, your arms loosened up. So this is kind of a cool sketch, or challenge, I should say. So I'm glad, you know, even though I've like ripped them a couple of times, or all the time, Mike Emirates for challenging me, for you know, inviting me to do this. This is really kind of cool, and to see other people's artwork too, you know, what they come up with, and the different styles that they come up with is always really kind of fun and neat to see, you know, what people can do, and maybe like what styles you can use, you know, if they're finishing the you know, the challenge, you know, what something that you can possibly do to, you know, whether it be simplify or certain techniques. I was like a poltergeist. You see that? How that pencil flew? It's kind of crazy, man. I'm drawing death, and we got poltergeist going everywhere. Anyways, but yeah, you know, so it's kind of cool to see. And let's see here. Do a pathway? Is it really needed? Does death really need roads? I mean, it doesn't really have a flying DeLorean, but at the same time, he is somewhat powerful in the fact that you'll never need a Segway. His mode of travel is low impact because he usually floats, I think, right? Floats, walks. Doesn't really have that excess weight, even though he has this heavy ass cloak. He doesn't. Yeah, anyway, that's another mode of thought for later. Okay, 12:55. That is all I'm gonna do for that. Let's see, okay. I'm gonna try a method that might really suck. Might really suck big time. But hey, Jim Lee does it. He makes it look easy, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be super easy, right? Probably not. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, Rapidograph ink on tissues. Right now I'm just gonna try to get, like I said, the shadow areas in a little bit faster than I have, which shouldn't really be difficult because I haven't really worked very fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of create in some shadows and see if I can't work with the spontaneity of a very loose type of inking, which is more or less just smudging ink everywhere. But, you know, again, this is going to help me really figure out a lot quicker where I would need to go with the shadows and stuff. So we'll see what happens. Not gonna be really too worried about stuff. Just want to try to. It's just an exercise, right? It's a warm-up exercise. I'm not gonna. That. Again, I am not on an old Viking ship made of wood on the high seas. That's just my chair. It's very, very not silent. All right, so let's see. See if I can't make this very organic. Maybe not have all my lines connected. Kind of like break them apart a little bit, kind of give the illusion of depth and kind of let the viewer's mind do the work for me. Yeah, I think I really need to study the skeletal structure. Stop drawing so many buff dudes, bro. Need to, like, love all body types, even dead ones. Yeah, so spotting blacks on this one's going to be kind of interesting because, like, I mean, there's going to be so much of it. So, like, all the parts that I want to show, I'm going to have to kind of make that decision as far as graphically how is it gonna work, with what I'm trying to show. And it might not be like realistic lighting, simply because, again, it's not. I'm gonna want to capture something. Um, so, something of the character of death. So I don't really know how to tackle that well. Okay, let's go. Like, realistically, like, you wouldn't be able to see his skull at all, because of the light source and because of the cloak and all that stuff. But yeah, oh well. Actually, there's a guy. I mean, he's been around for a while. He has like some controversy and blah blah blah, blah, whatever you want to call it. But he's another guy that's also really good, kind of really good with line work. And it's very very clean. It's very stylized. Um, as far as the shading, as far as directional line work, is Frank Cho. Um, it's like worked for Marvel before, worked for DC, all this kind of stuff. He always, kind of gets flack for drawing like buxom women or whatever, or doing something with, you know, doesn't, I don't know, he just doesn't jive with some other creators, right? But anyways, he does phenomenal artwork and line work. And again, you know, his style, his sense of I don't know, like a graphic design or design mind is actually pretty good. You know, so that's like something you might want to check out, especially some of his later or his more recent covers, I should say, because you know it definitely has like a classic. Aside from the superheroes being on it, it has like a classic way about it. I'm not too sure like what artist he pulls from, but you know I've seen that type of art before. You know, like back in the day type art. Um, you know, from masters and back in the day and stuff. But yeah, he definitely has a pretty cool style. Um, you guys should probably check out. Yeah, so this one's gonna be pretty loose. You know, I thought I was gonna do like heavy blacks and stuff like that up here. Um, I might still, but probably not because I only have like 2 minutes left yet again. So I'm just going to kind of figure out some forms for these folds, or try to anyways, and see what happens. But yeah, I'm probably going to be stopping this here pretty soon, like in like 5 minutes or something. And yeah, I don't know. This was kind of fun. It's kind of cool. You know, I might give this guy a go, another try. You know, some other time. But again, this is just like a warm up. And one of these days I will accomplish finishing a freaking warm up. One of these days. I'll get you next time, Gadget. I'll get you next time. So yeah, I'll probably be getting silent here for the next 5 minutes because I'll be somewhat concentrating. So hopefully you guys kind of like ASMR sounds or something like that. Oh my gosh. It may sound like I'm making fun of it, but I actually like it. So puts me to sleep. It's good stuff. Okay, so it's 42 minutes. I'm going to end it right here. Sorry for the long pause and stuff like that. Here's sort of, let's bring in some light. Yeah, there's sort of the line work here. It's kind of blurry, but whatever. See, I'm blaming it on the camera instead of saying like I'm smudging all the ink with my hand. So it's blurry. Damn blurry camera. Anyways, so that's what I have so far. I'm going to go ahead and try to finish this up. I probably made the mistake of this kind of stuff right here, or maybe not. I don't know. I'll see if I can incorporate that somehow. You know, maybe fade that line work into that, and then it just kind of fades into black, and then that way that'll bring more interest to this dude up here. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Whatever. If you have like any tips and tricks in, as far as like how to get faster besides draw more ink faster, um, which I will try to do anyways. But yeah, just let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.